Bring the horns in. We going all in.
Honestly, I thought I wasn't gonna live that day at all. I thought they was gonna find a way to kill me or kill everybody that was out there in the yard. But something made me say you gotta see it through. So once I got up to the steps, they looked in my face. One of the correction officers grabbed my face and did this. Said, "Were you on the TV?" And I looked at him and said, "No." "No? It's sir to you." And he called me the N-word. So then he pushed me. He said, "Get in there," and called me the N-word again. And he said, "You see what's ahead of you? You run there. That's only." And if he said you fall, you're going to die. I did fall. But it was a guy seen his eye. He said, "Get up and keep moving." And I didn't remember anything. I didn't feel anything. I mean, I felt the clubs and all that stuff. I was just trying to keep from getting hit in the head, my elbows, my back, my neck, my knees, my legs. All that stuff just got beat. I got terribly beaten. I didn't think I could make it. That's how I felt. I said, I can't go any further. That guy picked me up and I could see something in his eyes. He was a guard, but I think he was sort of like, he wasn't a state trooper. He wasn't a correction officer. He was like maybe Army Reserve or something like that. Young guy though. I could tell he was young. He said, "Man, keep moving if you want to live." So he kind of pushed me. And the rest of the folks that I had to go through missed me. So I ended up in the cell block. They threw me in there. It was like 6, 7 other people in there. Well, that evening was horrific because I could hear them pulling people out of the cells, beating them to wherever they were interrogating them. And I think now that they was probably some of the people that they were able to identify that were on the news or whatever photography they had going on, And a lot of people that they were able to identify, they took them directly to the box. Us, they put in A block, stacked up. So then they started shipping people to other locations and stuff like that. I think I went without seeing a doctor for almost more than a week. I still had glass and all that stuff embedded in me. It was days before we were able to get a shower and get clothes and stuff like that, and somebody to look at us. But it was sort of like, something you would never, people out on the outside would ever believe. I think at that time they were still thinking it was our fault. So they kind of backed up when it was noted on the news that the Rochester coroner had said that nobody had died of inflicted wounds by any inmates. So all the deaths were inflicted by gunshot wounds. So everything they had been doing up to that point could no longer be justified. So they started taking a real close look at what was going on in there. They were under martial law, so they were still able to do what they wanted to do without other interference. But once they said that, suddenly the martial law was lifted and other people can get in and out. To kind of like find out what the state of the institution was in and stuff like that. They started, I guess, this is just my opinion, I guess they just started saying things about probably the conditions that people were still operating under. You got 4 or 5 people to a cell, maybe more, and, a whole lot of people their wounds had not been attended because you were just locked down. They'd bring you sandwiches and stuff like that and spit on them, and, it was just terrible. And put, pistols or shotguns or rifles to the bars and click them. You didn't know they were just going to shoot up everybody in there. So I kind of lived up under that terror for, sometimes it still hits me, I've been to a psychologist a couple times, and I'm talking to one now about this stuff, because every time it gets close like this, I kind of go through things. Sometimes it's not as bad, sometimes it's terrible. So I'm trying to get to the point where I actually acknowledge that it just wasn't my fault. It's just something that happened.
Bring the horns in. We going all in.